guys? Welcome to the LTAS podcast. We're all going to go around and say our names and say the toughest thing we've done to get into the salty spittoon. So I'll start off. How tough am I? I make a sandwich out of the end slices of bread and I eat it.
Ooh, dude. That's pretty hardcore. I actually don't do that.
Oh, and I didn't say who I'm Mawoduffer.
Look how quiet it is.
It doesn't look that quiet to me. It looks fine.
That's when you get close to it and yell.
Not you, Drew.
There we go. That's better. Okay, what's something tough I've done?
Guys, we went over this before the show.
We didn't do that, actually. This was
Okay.
win. How about one time, I fell out of a tree stand.
Ooh, tough.
Hey.
I'm Wackofan.
Hey, my name's Zach, and I stopped my grandma's pacemaker.
What? What do you do with it? Is it in a box?
I'm just kidding.
I ripped it from her cold dead hands.
That's gonna be the best one that we've done.
Okay.
So
my
anyway,
laugh is
yeah,
like
Slancatto, he's not here again today. He really wants to be on here.
I'm sure.
But he just can't make it down. He has like he holds a job down a lot
He
of the time.
literally works every day, all day, probably 13 hours.
Yeah, they have him. Well, they have him booked all the time because it's a new place.
I
The
guess.
new
He sells
theater.
drugs.
Yeah, that's probably
We said
it.
we wouldn't talk about that. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, he won't be here for this one. So.
But anyway,
It's like he breaks through that door and goes, I'm here, guys. He said he just wants to sleep in, but who sleeps till freaking...
Yeah, that's
Okay.
worrying. Maybe he's like sinking into depression.
Hopefully not.
Golly, that's horrible.
Work caused...
Let's do
It's
our
not unheard of.
ASMR for the day to get that out of the way, so we don't have to try to do ASMR.
Why is that a thing? ASMR.
Why is that a thing? Oh, that's a bit I want to do. Where's the eject
Your bit
button?
sucks.
Hit the eject button.
Ooh.
Take that cassette out. Put that cassette in. That's a fire
not even
mixtape.
spinning.
That's a fire mixtape right there.
Oh yeah, and Zach wants to share something he got handed to on the
Oh.
streets.
Oh yes.
A free mixtape. So my mom's a nurse, and she was at work, and this woman came up to her, and she's like, "Hey, my son's a rapper. He's trying to make it big." And
Oh my gosh.
my mom didn't even ask for the tape or the mixtape, but the woman goes ahead and goes out to her car and takes the tape out of her car and goes in and hands it to my mom. And my mom comes home and she's like, "You like rap, Zach, don't you?" This woman gave me her son's mixtape.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's by Sheven.
Sheven.
Sheven, yes.
Expungement.
It's Sheven. Look him up on
Expungement.
SoundCloud.
Is that the Royals font?
And that's not a joke. It's he's
Is that the
actually on
Royals
SoundCloud.
font?
It
I don't
is.
know.
It looks like the Royals font. But yeah, he's on SoundCloud. This is not a joke.
It's funny because he does
Can
look
we play some?
No, we can't.
No.
No, we're not playing Sheven.
copy
I'd
strike.
rather not. And
Play,
there's no way to.
It's
yeah.
funny because he looks
I mean, we
much.
put it on SoundCloud.
He looks much older than us, but we're probably more successful in our music endeavors than.
No, dude, we don't have physical mixtapes to hand around, nor do any of us actually.
Hey,
rap.
well, listen to the track "Ice Cream."
Yeah, if
good
when,
track.
when you go on.
Sheven. No,
What?
that's
No, let's link it. Let's link it in the description of the video.
Put the link in the Discord so that we can put the link in the Discord so I can put it up because I'm gonna edit this one.
We need the description. We need that in the description. Like,
Wait,
link to our boy
can we-
Sheven's mix.
Can we please give him a little taste?
No, we're not giving. We don't want to
No,
play.
they don't need a taste yet.
It'll be all weird in this room, anyways. Oh my gosh, it's not even showing up. Okay, that's enough. It's
Okay.
terrible. It's so bad. But
But we could-
I'm sure his other stuff's great though. He's the next time.
Yeah, he's the next Vanilla Ice.
I mean,
Dude, that's
beauty's
what-
like expungement. Isn't that like when you sweat?
I expunge fluid
See,
to cool off.
he said his mom, I guess, said that he's gonna be performing with Tech Nine. So
Okay. Let's
let's just
We can
stop.
say that we helped them up to the top.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with our actual topic.
Yes. So I think I'm okay. So
You should introduce it. Yeah.
So our topic, it's gonna be, I've really, this is like, I'm gonna go on a bit of a tangent here. So people they think we should explore space. They think there's actually stuff out there.
There is actually. They're called rocks, and they are different colors.
And it's
stuff.
just rocks. And if you want to go gold mine on Mars, hey, all power to you. But I'd rather I'd rather invest time in investigating the human mind.
Wait
Are
a
you-
minute. Do you guys believe in aliens?
No.
That's a topic for another day, my dude. Let's not jump. We're talking about the inner
We need
machinations
to-
of his mind.
that meme soda,
Yes.
the meme soda track, inspired by.
Inspired. So like the mind, we're discovering slowly but surely that the mind is like a pretty powerful thing, right?
Sure, man. I mean, it's like you can power a light bulb, I think, with your brain.
So
One of those tiny ones.
you know how like people are discovering, it's like sort of what is it, pseudo hypnotism, but it's not the old way that they show in cartoons. It's just like
Little spinning thing, like a coin on the string.
no, it's like you sit down and you meditate and you just listen to an audio track and it's like telling you like, oh, you're gonna be happier in life or something like that.
You see, I think that's just placebo at that point.
That is entirely what it's the mind is a powerful thing. That's entirely what it's meant to do.
Yeah, but it's not actually doing anything. It's you are doing stuff to yourself.
Yeah,
It's just saying that you can do that stuff to yourself.
Yeah, but I think it's still pretty useful to I haven't seen much of use for this whole hypnotization thing.
There is no use.
It's just a bunch of cringy stuff, like people trying to make themselves perceive their own body as different, which I don't know how well that works.
What's the point of perceiving yourself different if other people see you the same? So
I
like
don't
it
know,
doesn't.
maybe-
You just feel better about yourself, but like in the long run, if you're like have no arm or something,
Maybe we
like
could-
they can't see. They don't have an arm.
I mean, maybe with this we could like cure transgender people so they don't.
Cure them.
Yeah, so they're finally happy with their own
There's
body.
a girl that I watch. She doesn't have an arm. She's got this YouTube channel.
Oh, I actually heard about her.
Have you
It's
seen
like
the
Mandeville's
girl
sister or
without
something.
both arms and she has to like she's missing both arms. One of her legs is shorter than the other, and so she has like a special prosthetic boot to adjust the height. And so she
I'm
just
down.
like lifts her leg out of that boot and then like
Kicks things.
Yeah, kicks things and like grabs. That's how she
I've never heard of that.
in between her head and her shoulders.
She's
how she
actually,
grabs most stuff.
Yeah, the girl with the missing arm. She says she seems like a nice lady.
Pretty.
You said that so quiet. I don't think I even picked it up.
Oh,
But
no.
I don't understand. What could you do with like hypnotism with that?
You can't.
I
There's
can't
no
really-
uses. You can't. In the long run, in the back of their mind, they would know.
Yeah.
Like it's people who want to do stuff like that are just insecure.
I feel like
You just got.
we haven't discovered the usefulness.
There's no useful, and it's not even like a real powerful thing. It's just another way to think of the world.
Well, because like people, they can for a while people can learn to ignore pain. Like a chronic back pain or something. They can, sort of be hypnotized into forgetting that, so they can,
It's
do
another
stuff.
hypnotism is like a way. It's like when you think about it, like real life, not movie hypnotism where they go and kill the president, but like real life hypnotism is just a way for you to explore your own, like essentially annotate your own thoughts. It's more
Yeah.
like getting helped into like realizing that you can do things like
Let's get to
I can ignore pain and shit. Like
Yeah.
that.
So I know where you're going with this is into the topic of like lucid dreaming or whatever.
Yeah, lucid dreaming. So it's a little bit different because I think some people they can sort of pseudo hypnotize themselves using lucid dreaming.
Is lucid dreaming proved real? I've never actually seen it.
I think it has been
It
proved
has.
real.
Because people say
if
they've
I
done
remember-
it, but I mean, you can't prove it.
But like,
at
let's
all.
go on the basics of
Because
dreaming.
I think they did finally do a test where they got someone who could consistently lucid dream, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna have you, clench your fist in the dream 10 times."
But how do they know if he's clenching his fist? Because your body, when you're in your dream state, your body doesn't move, and if it does, it's like a thing that's wrong.
Well, they have like wires hooked up to the brain, and they know that part that's like responsible for motion of your arm and stuff. So they see that pop up 10 times in their on their graph or something, whatever they have to measure it.
It's like a.
They're like, oh wow,
have you
this must be real neat, So.
Yeah, have you guys ever slept walk?
Nah.
No, but I've heard that if you are prone, I've heard that if you're prone to lucid dreaming, you'll sleep. My dad does it. He's done weird crap.
I guess supposedly I poured water all over the floor. I tried to get him water out of the refrigerator, and my mom's like, yeah, you tried to get him water and you spilt it everywhere, all over the floor.
Apparently, my grandma wakes up really early so much, and like that's her schedule. Is she wakes up really early, like at 4 a.m. Like every day. That's just what she does.
They say the earlier you wake up, the more productive you are.
She gets up and she makes coffee. It turns out that she's not actually getting up. She's making coffee in her sleep, and she's been doing this for years.
Oh dang!
Sometimes she's awake, but sometimes you'll walk in to the kitchen. She's gonna make coffee. Hey, grandma. Huh? What? her eyes are open, but they're like, and she's not awake. And it's like kind of weird, but it's very frequent. I've only seen it like once.
That's like a really interesting brain thing.
Yeah, and my dad does it too. He one time he went into my sister's room and like peed in something because he thought it was the toilet.
Oh, that's
dude.
It's there.
Well, no, you don't know. I've heard that people like pee in ovens and stuff. It's a lot of times you're going up to pee in your sleep.
Cause okay, so it's really weird. I've been in like a state half in a dream, half awake.
Oh, I've done weird stuff in my dream.
And I peed in the dream, right? But I did not pee in real life.
I've trying to come out and say you wet the bed.
It's really.
I've freaking. Oh, sorry, man. I freaking peed in my dream, man.
Sensitive on this.
And I've freaking peed in a dream, and I freaking peed in the bed.
That's like only happened to me when I was a kid.
I've never trying to find a good spot for the mic.
It's fine because we can always edit.
Actually, I have a good idea that might make it easy.
Edit the audio system later.
I'm sure there's this weird sliding.
We can
noise.
always put a condenser on it.
Yeah, that seems to pick up my voice and Trenton's voice better.
Maybe if I get that degree in audio engineering, I'll finally figure out
what's
wrong with the mic.
I'm going to. I'll be able to know how to do stuff like that as well.
But anyway, I've only had, I haven't been very lucky with lucid dreaming. I'd say some of the only times that it works is out of random, and sometimes out of techniques and stuff, which basically all you do is so your dreams, your dream cycles that you can at least remember.
Circadian rhythm.
Yeah, your dream cycles, the REM cycles, they sort of start 6 hours after sleep. So what you can do is you can wake up after 6 hours of sleeping, and then I've never been able to do this, but people, they slowly let themselves sink into sleep, but they try to stay aware at the same time.
I don't think that's a thing that I would ever be able to do, because when I fall asleep, it's gone. Just immediately. I feel it coming and gone.
It's tough because it takes a lot of practice.
I just don't try.
And there's another one that's a similar style where you're supposed to imagine wiggling your fingers back and forth to keep you focused on something and keep your brain awake, but your body falls asleep. But that's never worked for me. I always accidentally fall asleep before that.
Sorry, should we all try this tonight?
No, because I won't do it. But I'll come back from work and fall asleep. I don't want to mess with that.
It's mostly worked for me when I wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and then I'll take a drink, lay back down, and I'll say something to myself I'm gonna lucid dream tonight. I'm gonna remember my dreams. I'm gonna realize I'm dreaming. Some simple mantras like that.
Mantra. I love that word.
I had this.
And that has sometimes worked for me.
I had a freaking. Have you guys ever had a scary real dream? You woke up and you're like, dang, I thought that actually really happened or something.
I can't remember.
You feel like you're gonna cry.
If I did, I don't remember.
Dang, I had something.
I have a bunch of weird dreams that I know could not have happened in reality.
Oh, yeah, it's something. I had a dream where my dad told me, like, oh, you missed a spot while shaving. And so, like, I get the razor, I go to shave, and it's, like, below my lip. And so, like, I'm shaving there, and then, like I cut myself, and it stings a little, and I'm like, ah, dang, I wonder how bad this is. And, like, I go to, like, look, and, like, I pull apart, and it's this deep slice, like, deep, clean slice. And I'm just, like, freaking out. Then I woke up, and I'm like, oh.
Freak out. Why'd you freak out?
Because it's this deep, clean slice that's just on my lip, and I'm like, ah.
The only part I'm worried about when I get hurt is the initial pain. After that, I don't care. I'd leave it open cut if I could.
Sleeping, I gotta
As long as there's no blood getting everywhere.
I gotta fix the way I sleep, dude. I have a lot of night terrors and crap.
What do you can't, like, what do you do before bed? You watch scary movies?
No, I don't. I just have them. Like,
I don't think there's a way to fix that.
I've got, like, sleep apnea.
You're just
not like
chronic terror all the time.
Not chronic. I mean, I get them occasionally, and it's just like, kind of ruins my day.
I dream most when I wake up, and then I fall back asleep for like an hour. I have the most dreams then.
Yeah, that's...
Like I will wake up, I'll fall asleep, and I'll have like this super vivid dream for like an hour.
That
and
is
I'll fall back asleep and have a different vivid dream.
That's basically the technique right there.
Tell us about. Do you remember it?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
It was something. They're just mundane, like me going through the day.
And the way it is like, every time you see something weird, you're supposed to do a reality check. So, like, do something that you could only do in a dream that won't harm you, of course, or
puts a gun to my head, blows my brains out in the dream.
My personal favorite, but this one, you got to be a little bit careful about this one. It's different than people expect. So you hold your nose and try to breathe through it, and if you can't, you're awake. But if you can, it's a dream. But when it's a dream, sometimes when you breathe through your nose, it's like a very faint breath, but you can still tell it. So it's easy to get mixed up there.
But how are you going to tell yourself in your dream, hey?
No, yeah, when I'm in a dream, I don't know I'm in a dream.
Well,
I can't, like, when I'm in a dream and I see something weird, it's normal.
Yeah, it's a matter of...
Like, oh, yes, the flying cars of the world. Yes, that's a normal thing.
Just
so you've got to get into making that a normal thing in your regular life. Like, if you see something weird in your regular life, or, just making a habit out of doing reality checks, which I've really sucked at. I've not been doing that. I mean, I have been writing down my dreams.
I don't do that.
That's what you have to do for lucid dreaming. There's like no other way to remember them.
I'm gonna try it.
I can remember them if I wake up and I think about what happened. I can remember them. Like I willingly remembered the one that was in a church.
I had this freaking weird dream, dude. A couple weeks ago, I literally woke up and I was like, freaking had almost a panic attack. Well, I don't know. I've been my grandma. She's got cancer or whatever, and it was like this dream because we have a family reunion coming up. Like, yeah, I've told you about it, and like it was a dream about that, but then like I don't know how to explain it. Like then like I looked at the clock and they're like, whoa. This clock, what is wrong with this clock? And it's like, look at your watch. Like, I don't know. And then I woke up, I'm like...
What, the clock said, look at your watch?
Yeah, look at your watch.
Did you have a watch on? I think so you look at nothing and you go,
I think I had a dream where there was like a 22-hour clock on the wall.
22 hours?
Like military time, but 22-hour clock.
Only 22?
I don't know if it was like, time's ticking.
22 is like 8 o'clock. I know because we have to use military time when we clock in and out at work. That's the only reason I know that which is dumb and I don't know why they do it.
It's because the Waltons, they are very patriotic.
I guess. I don't know.
God bless America.
Even though when Walton was running things, it was all paper.
I am Mr. Walton, and I say God bless America.
Hey, can we rest in peace to Mr. Walton?
Is he dead?
He's dead.
Really?
He's dead.
Okay. Oh, oof.
Well, he's been dead, I think.
He was a simple man.
He was around when like Elvis was around. And Elvis...
I think that's a little bit after, was it? I thought he died in like the 70s or 80s.
Really? I thought he was way... I don't know. I don't know the history of Walmart. Okay, let's go back to the topic at hand here.
Yeah, so basically lucid dreaming. I think everyone should, at least I think there should be awareness raised for it. It's sort of tough. It's sort of tough to do, but it's sort of you learn about your own mind. You learn about how you are.
Well, the whole problem with that is there's been studies and stuff about what dreams are, and they've pretty much come to the conclusion that there's no point. It's just your brain essentially doing crap while it's almost like it's kind of like going on a jog. It's like exercise. There's no actual benefit. It doesn't make your brain smarter. That's not how that works. But it's just a thing that your brain does when you're sleeping. It's just a side effect of sleep.
Well,
and they say it maybe helps sort thoughts. That's about it.
Some people theorize that it's your subconscious putting together the dreams. So you can
mixing experiences.
If you get into a lucid dream, this is only a theory that some people have. I think it's true, but you can basically personify your subconscious and like have it come next to you in your dream and like be, I don't know, it'll probably be...
Isn't your subconscious yourself?
Yeah, but it'll probably
so be another you.
It'll probably be someone it could be someone that you don't know. It could be like if you...
Have you seen this man?
If you,
that's a hoax, by the way.
If you look into like a mirror and start talking into the mirror towards yourself, it could be that.
Some Harry Potter.
Yeah, some
But
Harry Potter
you basically...
Sorcerer's Stone.
You can like ask your subconscious part of your mind.
This is within the dream.
Yeah, within the dream. You can be like, hey, what's up? Am I, what am I really truly afraid of? What am I... What do I only think I'm afraid of?
Is it like Harry Potter? Oh, I see my dead parents. Wow.
You could use a lucid dream for that.
You could see your dead parents in your dreams without having to lucid dream.
The terminology is like dream characters. So people in your dream...
My parents aren't dead for it to work.
Everyone in my dream are things that already exist.
Yeah.
They will...
I do not create new people. I pull things from movies. I pull things from people I know. A lot of people who are in my dreams frequently is me, of course. Jason Voorhees is always in my dreams. If there's a bad guy trying to kill me, it's Jason Voorhees.
Have you ever had a dream with us in it?
I have had one with him in it, not you. I haven't had one. If I did, I don't remember it.
Come on.
Dude, I had one
and
where
you died. You died. And I wasn't sad about it, and I don't remember why. I think you'd stab me.
I had one where I was playing Rust in real life with you, and like I had my
what was this?
I had like the first knife that I ever made. It's like this just dagger, and I was playing Rust with you. And then it turned into a shopping store with sort of inappropriate mannequins. But anyway,
What are you thinking about, man? If these are peeks into our subconscious, I want to know what you're thinking about.
Part of it could be some of the day,
Oh, well, I mean...
I'm going to stop asking about
men do think about that stuff like at least twice a day. I mean...
There is like a scientific, like an average amount of times.
I mean, we all
think about doing the dirty.
Dude.
But, yeah.
Wait a minute, I got a thing that goes with this, but I remember from psychology is that they said you dream because, like, one of the theories is that it was supposed to aware you of future events or
That's
whatever.
not a thing that happens.
I don't believe in that.
There is no precognition.
I don't believe in that either, but
I believe it's purely psychological.
It's all stuff that you already know. There's no new info because your brain cannot produce things that it has not perceived. It is a closed... It doesn't have a camera to see itself. It has to see what you see. It's not its own thing that can perceive things ahead of time.
I wish we made cameras as...
That's one of the most interesting things is like when you're in your dream, it is like looking out through actual eyes. It's not like you're just visualizing something in your head. It's like you're actually seeing what's there in front of you.
Sometimes when I remember dreams, I remember them in third person.
Yeah, sometimes.
And I don't know why. But
I don't
still,
really it's still like actually like seeing from.
It's almost like I'm seeing through my eyes to myself.
Yeah.
You can't put it in words because it's something only visual.
And this sort of leads into like I would say. You sort of disassociate from your real eyes, which are just looking at the back of your eyelids, and then you go into like that, your visual cortex and your brain stuff.
You push on your eyeballs and you see the colors. But
But
Yeah,
I
what
could
was
get
it?
on to so lucid dreaming, like through basically one of the good ways to increase your chances is to be thinking about lucid dreaming more. So I'd watch lucid dreaming YouTubers.
That's a thing.
That's a
and
thing.
I am
They're all
disappointed.
They're all like hippies and crap.
Yeah, they're all like hippies and crap.
I
and
mean, when I
that
was,
led
like,
me to find.
When I was like 10, I watched a video on how to summon like a little like creature that follow you around, and I believed it when I was like 10. And of
No.
course, it was like
Oh my
you a
gosh.
magic circle,
There's
and
this-
you do.
there's
you
this
t-
YouTube
think
video-
about what you want it to look like,
Oh
and
my
I was
gosh.
I was like 10. I was too scared.
I know,
'cause I thought
I-
it was like summoning demons.
I know. I had a
But it was
similar.
awful.
I did.
Yes. We'll get to that. We'll
I,
get
had,
to that.
I had a similar thing that I mean, not
That
similar.
is not
but
mental.
I
That is
fell
just
for.
weird, stupid crap on YouTube.
I fell for this video thing that said, "Oh, you can turn any video game by writing the name of it on a blank disc and putting it into your Xbox."
You're an idiot, Zach. I would even when I was 5, I wouldn't do that.
Through lucid dreaming in these hippie YouTube channels, I discovered this guy. He happened to be a little bit more on the magic believing side,
I
and
can't
it was
speak
a
to these
little bit
people.
cringy.
A little bit.
Yeah, but he was like talking about this like thing called tulpas, right?
Oh God, we're gonna jump into that, aren't we?
Yeah,
What's
we're
that?
gonna jump into that.
Big
So
if.
I was like, what is this? So I watched the video. It isn't very helpful because he's like talking about it in like a magic sense.
Conveniently, when you talked to me about this originally, within the same day, I was on YouTube and I recommended a video about tulpas, and that was like Google's always listening.
Targeted advertisement.
It is kind of creepy that
But
Google's just
yeah,
like,
it was. I watched 5 minutes of it and I could not watch. I had to like squint when I did watch it.
And
It was
for-
like secondhand embarrassment. I couldn't do
And
it.
for
oh
some
yeah,
reason,
I get that.
for some reason, all the videos about it are complete trash because everyone's like too socially, like they're either
Socially
not
inept.
socially conscious enough or too socially conscious to be able to do it because it's like weird. So we've got
There's
like
no balance of normal humans.
so we've got like this one, on one side, this transgender person who says they have like a furry.
oh
tulpa.
gosh, furries.
And then on the other, and then
furries
the
are
other
the
side,
worst thing ever, man.
we have like a regular person who just doesn't talk about it on the other side.
There's
Which is-
the video that I only watched a couple minutes, as I've said, and in those couple minutes, there is no, from what I've seen, there's no like delving into how the brain works in science. It's just magic, magic, magic. Make it work with believing in yourself. Like what? No.
Well-
if you're trying to convince people of this, because it was a video trying to prove them essentially, and then they didn't. It was like trying to prove something with made up constructs. So like, oh yes, this works because my magic power from the earth. I'm like, you can't convince me while saying that.
My magic sigil.
Yeah, like he's talking
The
about like
magic conch
dude.
shell.
He. This is how deep it went. He started talking about what's it called? Crystal healing, where they put them on their body. He started talking about that, and
Have you seen
when he hit that point, I
Have you
closed
seen
the
the
video,
crystal
couldn't do it.
water?
Crystal water. Stuff like that is like. But dude, luckily, well, okay,
Oh.
so it's full of a bunch of weird people, but the community I found
The community.
Can I?
on Discord, they like are mostly
Are we gonna link that
psychologically based.
Can we link that Discord?
We can link that Discord.
Can
Let's link that
I
Discord.
talk about
Because it
that?
seems like you're good friends with these people.
Because now we're on like the topic of magic
But-
and crap.
But no,
no,
I don't.
let's
I wanna
let's leave
keep it-
that topic.
I want to
please.
keep it psychological. So you guys know what?
Grounded in reality.
Do you guys know what dissociative disorder is?
Yeah, I
It's-
feel like I've dissociated a couple times, but I might be wrong.
Disorder. What?
Dissociative.
Dissociative. Isn't that?
No,
one?
no, not a disorder. I don't
What's the
know
one where you
disorder.
don't think your arm's yours and you cut it off?
That's like a complete different. I think
thought that's what-
I've
that's
zoned out.
That's like that's a dysphoria.
Irritable bowel syndrome. Oh, okay.
But dissociative disorder is like so basically someone will disassociate from
Yeah.
their body and like a different personality will take over.
Oh.
Zach's like,
No.
I've done that, and he's
No.
like, here's it. And he's like, I've never done that.
I mean,
That's-
I'm thinking of a different
That's
disassociation.
the typical dissociative disorder, but like sometimes like if people have like PTSD,
Yeah.
they'll disassociate from their body for a second and just like go back
Well,
and
there's
just not do,
well,
you know,
so you're
be-
talking
I'm
about
not-
like a secondary like
but the typical
set of
one-
emotions that are like
They can be really hostile when they disassociate too.
it's essentially
Yeah, so
it's like it's kind of like alternate personalities, which
Yeah,
the term
that's-
has been muddied by
Well, the-
movies and such, where it's so drastic.
Well, the
but
reason
in real life, it's
the
not.
reason okay, it's only dissociative disorder if these alternate personalities are like, you know, fighting for control with you and they're trying to
There's
cut-
no fighting for control.
well,
It's
I've heard it. I've
Imagine
heard
it like a
before.
slope, like a thing, and they're all
I
teetering.
don't-
Whichever one slides off is the one that pops
Like
out,
the
and
most-
they're kind of just bubbling.
Well, the most extreme I've
Sound like
heard.
it's a separate entity. Like, let me out.
It was
Okay.
Demon.
It was a documentary of this extreme
Sorry.
case where this person had the terminology is alter. They had an alter, which was like this emo kid who was
Of course.
Who was trying to- who was
I'm
trying
sure
to
he
cut
wore
them.
like spiked bracelets and he was, you don't understand me.
who's trying to cut the body, like in so this woman, she had to hide all types of blades in her house. She had to get rid of all types of
eventually
blades.
just went nod, you know.
Yeah, and he was pretty much like this
Well-
depressed guy.
He was
But it's been-
stereotypical emo dude.
So dissociative disorder, this type, it has been proven
It's a thing, yes.
because they took some people who were acting like they had dissociative disorder and they did like brain scans on them, and then they had some people who were actually disassociating and switching. That's another term with this like alter, and the brains were different. So there's definitely
You say
something
alter?
there. Alter is what I think they like to call them. Like they call them an alter if it's this, you know, if you have like dissociative disorder.
I'm
Interesting.
I know.
I don't-
This is so. I don't think I've ever experienced that, but I've experienced like times where I've been like really stressed out and really anxious, and I just like freaking zone out, and like I can't concentrate on anything, and I'm like,
No, that's
Panic
just
is like-
zoning out. I've
Or
done
like,
that so
like
many
one
times.
where you
Kinda like-
no longer feel your body or
Kind
anything
of,
like
yeah.
that.
No, dude, I
Kind
get
of
that
where I don't
all the
feel
time.
my
I get it
body.
when I'm bored. When I'm bored, I will eventually reach the point where I could like get hit and I wouldn't feel it.
well, I'm in freaking like.
It's like I'm looking through mirrors.
It only happens when I'm like stressed highly, and like I'm kind of a little anxious. I just zone out, and I just like can't feel anything.
Yeah, it's just zoning out. You're just like, it's almost like stepping away from the controls a little bit. It's not like a separate entity's coming
Yeah,
in.
I mean, I didn't say it was.
You're
a
not getting
separate.
possessed by
But
demons.
but like when it happens, I get really hostile.
Huh.
Like
So
well,
you just
I mean,
you just become a dick for like 10 minutes. I don't know how long it takes. Mine are like
But I'd have to be like really nervous, like about something to like, or really stressed out
yeah.
about something. For that.
I know what you're talking about, and I've had that before. I don't know if I snap at people,
Well, I've had this really weird,
but
like if I'm like stressed or like really angry
Have you ever
at
had,
something, I've had this moment where I'll be like, I'll be like, like looking at something, wanting to throw it across the room, right? But like, there's like a weird feeling across my eyes, and it sort of like is like a blur, but not really for a second. And like I feel that, and I'm like, just like, what just happened? So I don't know what that is.
that's
It's
probably
not
just
like-
a brain thing.
I know this is like what I'm talking about is like separate from like a panic attack. But as a panic attack, you're like literally in a frenzy.
I've had a friend who had a panic attack, and he had like a mental breakdown. He like sat in the corner of the room and rocked back and forth like you see in
Freaking-
crazy people movies. I
I've
was like, holy crap, dude.
well, it really sucks because like
Yeah, it does.
because I realized I've had problems with that where I get like heart palpitations where it'll start beating unevenly, and I'm like, oh no, am I gonna die or something?
had-
no, you won't die unless you.
I
like-
know.
So I just got to be like,
So when you get anxious, that happens.
yeah. Sometimes you're like,
Apparently,
I've had
really
one at
anxiety.
like like in the car, dude. It's freaking.
What'd you have in the car?
I don't know. I don't know. I was kind of claustrophobic or whatever. I was like stressed out.
I'm triggered.
I'm sure. No, but then I started having a panic attack. I'm like, stop the car. So I went into this freaking Arby's, And like, oh, dude, I felt the same thing you were with like heart palpitations. Like, it freaked out.
I've probably one time, the closest I've been to that, I don't, because I'm very, I like to think of myself as very mentally like a rock, but not a good way, like, ugh, no one can hurt my feelings, but more like I just don't feel crap sometimes.
It comes out of nowhere.
It really only started happening when
I know what you're talking about.
So I drank like a big cup of coffee and I hadn't eaten in a while.
That's probably might be that
so
too.
that gave me sort of like caffeine induced heart palpitations, and from there that started like I was like, what's going on? Because I didn't know.
Yeah, because you freak out when something's wrong with your body.
So I mean, these last few times I've been pretty much fine. I've been able to calm down. But
I get like that when I get sick. When I get really sick, I get really anxious, and my head will get really hot, and I'll pass out, and I don't know why. And I think it's just my blood's pumping really fast.
I've never passed out. I threw up one time. Oh, dude, that was gross.
By the way, if you ever have a fever, don't take a hot shower because you will pass out in the shower. I have done that. I was like, I caught myself.
But like when I started getting them, it like hit me out of nowhere. Like I was totally fine before like all of it started happening, and it just like hit me out of nowhere. Now I don't experience it much now, but it like hit me out of left field.
But sort of going on from that, so so this dissociative disorder. The reason I'm talking about this is like gonna lay the foundation for the theory that I personally believe. You don't have to believe it, but this is sort of like...
Well, you don't have to believe...
This is the most solid thing
When I hear the term theory, I don't think of like...
Game theory.
No.
That too, but...
This dissociative disorder, it's thought to be caused by like trauma. So like if you're like a kid and you're getting beaten, it's like a stressful situation for you. So you disassociate.
Yeah, PTSD.
And it's been theorized that possibly you're subconsciously and consciously wishing this trauma upon someone else, like so much, like just like anyone else but yourself, that it creates input that goes, starts to create another consciousness. Because like, what are we?
Well, it's not a different consciousness. It's like you're closing a door and opening another one. It's the same room, but a different door.
I know. I've seen a little bit because have you guys watched Boogie 2988?
Yes, I've seen Boogie.
No, I guess he hasn't. He's talked about it like because he's got PTSD because his mom like roughed up on him.
Yeah, I've heard he got like freaking...
Yeah, and he caused PTSD and like he dissociates and stuff.
So the whole thing is, so like what are we but just, like our experiences, what we're, our consciousness is like, oh, I can see what's going on right now. I can, feel
everything that
I'm getting input, and that's what is leading me to be conscious. Because if I was unconscious, I wouldn't be getting input, right? If I got knocked out. So the theory is basically these beatings and whatnot from DID, and because this person is possibly dissociated, it's giving input to another part of the brain, and that eventually becomes conscious.
It's almost like you've separated a different part of your head to a different part of like... So yeah. I'm thinking like your head is a big room and there's like this dude standing in it, and that's you.
Yeah, and
then it like does this.
It creates like
amoeboid splitting.
It's like
right?
New neural pathways.
When Plankton...
It's the same dude, but it's a different dude.
It's like when Plankton gets into SpongeBob's head or whatever and tries to control it with the little sticks.
Like the same...
Like that, only
like
it's
the same
yourself
brain,
in your own head.
Like the same brain, but like a different person.
Yeah, it's like raw emotions personified because it pushes away everything else.
And so now the idea with tulpas and all is which
can't even
this
hear
term
that name and think of it seriously.
Okay, so basically I can give you a little background.
Personified personality would be like a good term for it.
It is like a Buddhist practice where you're supposed to create a tulpa, which is a Buddhist word. You're supposed to create a tulpa, and then the leader monk asks you, is this consciousness real? And you're supposed to reply, oh, reality is not real, or something like that. Unnecessarily
deep.
You're supposed to be like, reality is an illusion, So So you're basically, that would pass you the test. But, if you think it's really
If everyone
fake,
knows the answer, then how is it a test?
you don't know the answer when you begin.
Now I know, so I could go do it. I'd win. I'd cheat the system.
But anyway, what people are doing now, and I have no idea why the term stuck. Basically just a bunch of terms. Most of the arguments I see on the Discord server are about semantics, and it gets really annoying because some people are like, why is it this way? Why can't we change it? Some people are like, and then the other people are like, oh, it's just been this way for
things like that have thousands of years of tradition, and you can't change it.
It's just been this way for 7 years. There's a reason we call this switching, and there's a reason we call this not switching. So basically, what you do is, and this is said to take, quite a while, quite longer than lucid dreaming. Learning how to lucid dream even is like you basically just make a section in your brain, and you can do this mostly. It's mostly symbolic. Like you make a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you make some type of figure, and you imagine it, and you talk to that, you give it input, and after a while it's supposed to become conscious of itself and
conscious of itself
and conscious of in the conscious, what that is, consciousness.
That has to be an illusion, because if it became conscious of itself, it becomes its own entity, and creating your own entity is on the level of a god. Mm-hmm. And that implies that you can achieve
Thanos.
a power. It's like the Infinity Gauntlet.
It's creating another pathway of neurons in your mind. It's reworking your mind to have two consciousnesses in it instead of one.
It's probably just the same one, but portrayed differently. Kind of like how you can have a song, but different parts of the song, you're just routing a different part of the song. It's like sectioning off just the drums, and then you look at the drums, and that's the drums are right there.
Well, because if you think of it that way, the idea is there are thoughts that are going through your head all the time, but not all of the thoughts you really pay attention to, and not all of the thoughts you think are your own.
Yeah.
So you ever have just a random thought? You'll be like with your pet, right? Petting your pet, and you'll be like, you'll have a thought that pops up that oh, I should punch my dog.
I've never had that.
I've had that.
You've had that. That's an intrusive thought, and we're like, what? Why am I thinking this? What is this?
Well, it's because
it just pops up out of nowhere.
There's actually logic. Have you heard about the thing? Have you ever leaned over a ledge and thought I could jump off? There's a name for that, and it's yourself. It's essentially your brain testing itself, and it's a thing that we've had since prehistoric times.
I've had these ones where I'm like, what if I severely embarrass myself? Like what if I do this, and this at someone's house?
Yeah.
I saw a dude in Walmart, and I said, what if I yelled at him that he was a big freaking idiot? Because I was just bored, and I was just thinking in my head, and I was like, I could do that right now, but I didn't.
So basically, I've been just talking with these people in the Discord voice chat. Sometimes we talk about video games instead of stuff like.
Do you know these people?
Instead of I know these people.
He's taken to I've been to their Minecraft server.
Do you know a person?
It's really weird. There's a lot of weird people there as well. I suppose so.
Yeah. It's like going It's like the equivalent of going to a conspiracy theory Discord. You gotta know, half the people in there are freaking.
You just went in. So how many people are in the voice chat?
And nobody can figure out why there's so many gay and transgender people there. Nobody can figure out why.
It's because I don't know.
Maybe it's
Shane Dawson's is a conspiracy theorist, but I mean.
Maybe Shane Dawson.
I don't know who that is.
Does Shane Dawson have a tulpa?
No.
Conspiracy theory?
No, but so you get in a video chat with him? Voice chat?
So yeah, the voice chat.
How many people are in?
It's usually let's see who's on right now. It's probably not that many people. There's
So
only
they know you by name, Trenton?
they don't know me by name. They know. Okay, so like right now, it's Shiny and Hollings. Those are the only two people in there right now.
Where are these people from?
Let me see this real quick.
So Hollings.
Oh, that's a freaking symbol right there. What does that mean?
That's.
Should
I don't know. Okay, so they have like about 50 or maybe 3 or something. I don't. They have a lot of symbols
I'm
that
gonna
look.
describe it for the viewer.
it's
It's
a
a T with like a U at the bottom.
And they have like a different one where it's like a T with like a little squiggly line
It
across
reminds
the
me
top
of the
T.
old symbol for
Wait,
Christ.
show. Okay.
I don't. Yeah. See, I don't know why they
So
just. I asked them why the symbols like different for different places, and they're like, oh, one's just more, one's more Tibetan and traditional, and one's more like psychological.
So where are these guys from?
Around
Well,
the world, it's a
I know it's around.
I
know it's
know. I
around.
think one's from Michigan, one's from Pennsylvania, one's from like Seattle.
And then you
So-
guys just make the time just to call each other.
Well, no, we don't like
Yeah,
call each
yeah,
other.
I know.
It's just
I know.
whoever's in the voice
I
chat at
know.
the time, and they usually.
Do you know how
like,
Discord works?
I know how Discord works.
Because like you don't call people, you just join
I know.
a chat.
I know. You join a chat. Yeah.
So anyway, you'll see. Let me see if I can pull up one of the chats for a good example.
God, don't read out weird stuff, please.
Well, you'll have here. Let me see if I can. Not many people do it. A lot of people do separate accounts, but they'll do like their name, their username. They'll change their nickname in the server to have their username, and then they'll have like brackets, and then their Topal's name.
Why do they name it?
And why they do that is because whenever something's in brackets, it's their Tulpa.
Well, why does it
typing.
have a name?
What do you mean?
Why did they name it? Why do they refer to it as a name?
Why'd they name their Tulpa?
Yeah.
Because they like, it's like a different person.
It's like a dog.
It's not like a dog.
that
It's-
only you can see, so you can walk out in public and then get arrested for being a weirdo talking to with nothing.
So really the only way to confirm this is to try it yourself. But
It's one of those things that you will only see it if you believe it, and you won't see it if you don't. One of those like
You'll
have
ghosts,
to try
like
it.
spirits.
you,
It's all
you can try it. It might take like
You-
5 months or 6 months or something.
It's just the
It's a different time for everyone.
We have a very powerful grasp over our own perception.
Yeah.
So technically, you could hallucinate to yourself by sheer will that there is a gun to your head at all times, and only you could see it. And it doesn't there doesn't need to be science behind it. There doesn't need mystical behind it. Just you thinking it hard enough, you could do that because that's just how our brain is. We perceive things like that.
Well, and that's another term. Not many people do this anymore, from what I gather in the community. But they it's called imposition. I talked about it in the last time. They impose their tulpa into the real world, and sometimes it's just like, oh, I feel like my tulpa is standing next to me. It's not like I.
This
It's
is
not like
another
you can-
level of imaginary friends that I can't even
It's not
extend
like
to.
it's not like you can. Not many people
It's supposed to be
gain
like-
that level to where they actually like can hallucinate them on purpose. Because some people get to that level, and from what I gathered,
So-
that takes a lot of work.
So
That's
this
a
is
waste of
this
time,
is
in
the
my
back.
opinion.
This is the backstory to Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
That is definitely.
Hey,
They
Blue.
no one can explain that. So imagine you're just average Joe Schmo pulled off the street, businessman, average. You sit down at a table and someone tries to explain what you just explained to someone like that. They'll be like, so it's an imaginary friend, because it sounds like an
that's the
imaginary
way
friend.
that's the way most people
They are
like
just,
to
yeah.
they like to put it in layman's terms. They're like, oh, it's an imaginary friend, but like next level up. Like they talk back. They don't. I'm not the one talking for them. They're
You're
the
just
one
in a
talking
business
back like
meeting.
that.
Can you grab me a pen real quick?
They can't touch anything.
So what
it's in your
most-
head. It's
I
like
know.
you're only seeing it. It's like in your eyeball.
Well,
Not
what
really,
most
but,
people
you know.
what most people will focus on is, instead of this imposition thing, they'll focus on switching, which is, I said earlier, these dissociative disorder people, they can like disassociate. They could a lot of them. They find this community. They learn how to disassociate at will, and they stop fighting with their alters. So they're like basically, just do that. But some people, I think it takes a while, but they learn to disassociate at will, so their tulpa can take over their body. So they'll like go back in their head, and then their tulpa will be like controlling their body. They claim to be able to do this.
Keyword claim. Keyword big fat asterisk right next to claim.
Supposed.
So I mean,
Anyone could say anything on the internet. Anyone can say anything.
they do talk different, but like I said before,
Well, I can talk to.
people who act, they've like scientists, they found people who act like they have a different personality. Their brain scans show up different than people who actually do.
Have people actually done brain scans to know?
I think they've done brain scans to test to find out if dissociative disorder was real, but they haven't done it for this practice yet of creation of another consciousness in your brain.
What's the point?
What's the point? I mean, it's all I don't know.
This
to
is
a lot
where
of people,
this
it's
is
just a hobby.
a lot of people. When you come to conspiracy theories, when you come to stuff like this, when you ask them what's the point, they always go,
There's a
there's
there's
a
a freaking conspiracy.
A lot of people
theory
they
that-
just say it's fun.
You just gotta
That's all.
step up.
There's-
When someone says like the moon landing was fake, you gotta
No,
go
no,
like, you believe in
No,
the moon?
this one gets me. This one like, makes me laugh. They think Michelle Obama is a trap.
Nah, dude. She is.
But they're like, they look at her like walking with her dress and like, oh wow, she's got a.
Those kids are adopted. You don't believe that?
Yeah, no, that's dumb.
But anyway, yeah, the only way to figure out is to try it. But unless you're actually motivated to try it, you probably won't.
I'm not gonna do it.
No.
Because it's
I'll
like,
pass.
from what I gather, people they don't, it's sort of like frowned upon to try it, and then be like, you know what, nah, because it's like seen as a different person, so you're just like ignoring them.
Freaking kill them. Can you kill them?
Yeah, basically.
Can you kill them?
Basically,
Can I kill people and get away with it?
I mean, I've heard it's hard to do, but and not many people do it. But basically, you just like ignore them.
How is it hard to ignore them? Bro, it'd be so easy. I ignore people all the time.
You ignore this like other consciousness talking to you in your head or something, and they'll eventually go away. But I've heard for some, especially like dissociative disorder, they can't really do that.
That's because that's a disorder. It's
'Cause
different
it's-
when you
'cause
do
it's
it
been-
yourself.
Because it's been like stuck that way since their childhood.
I just can't get over
So
the
just
fact that you can make
freaking
one and then they're
follows
like, don't halfway make it because that's like a person.
It's literally
I would be like,
Foster's imaginary friends.
I would just be like,
Well, they're like
no, I just.
well, the way they
off.
see it is like when they start talking to you like with their own thoughts. That's when they see it as like an
I
actual
don't think it's
person.
their own thoughts. It's your thoughts. Anything made from
So,
your brain can
it
only
just
be made
literally-
from its parts.
it literally
You
just
can't
follows-
create new.
It just follows you
But-
everywhere and then talks to you.
So it's stuff that you either already know or already feel.
Yeah, but they
But
could,
it's just
they could
perceived.
have different
It's
opinions
like a-
on things. They could differ, like religion. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not the same religion
Hey,
as you. Maybe they wouldn't.
mine's gonna be gay and it's gonna be half.
I feel like we've
mine,
said
half.
the word gay too much in this episode, so
Yeah.
I have to preface that I do not have any
I
problems.
I do not
nothing
have
with
any
that.
affiliations with that.
I've
No,
got
I'm just
nothing
saying like I
against-
don't care
I
about
don't
that.
care.
I don't. You can do whatever you want.
But I've come to find
care.
through trying out that this practice is indeed true. You can believe me or not.
I don't. Well, anything can be. In there's. It's
And,
hard
like-
to put into words, but I could. If I tried hard enough, I could do stuff like that too. And it's just because if you think something hard enough, you can make it feel like it's happening, but it might not
but
actually
still-
be happening.
Still, like if it's
This is one of those things that you cannot tell
it's-
anyone anything, and you can't give definitive proof that you are actually experiencing this
It's-
thing. Even
it's
if like
the
a
problem
brain
of other
scan
minds.
says blah 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 blah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's
no
the
one
problem
can.
of other
No
minds.
one. It's at this point. It's all based on what you want. This is
I
one of
don't-
those things where facts bleed into opinion, and it kind of gets.
I don't
fucked.
need a thing following me. I already have a freaking ringing in my ear that I
Yeah,
can't
you
ignore.
freaking tinnitus over here.
you could hypnotize yourself to try to block that out. You could.
That's a useful, actually.
you
yeah.
could.
for-
That's a.
I
look up,
personally think hypnotism can be useful for certain
Yeah.
things.
like
that.
look it up on YouTube and see if you can find like some kind of
Didn't he say he tried
tinnitus-
to do that
tinnitus
last time and it made it worse?
No, I went to an ear doctor and like.
Or he tried to use white noise.
I use white noise, yeah.
and it just.
What about brown noise?
Orange
I remember that.
we need equality in noises.
I remember. Yeah.
But anyway, like, I mean, the thing I do believe is true. These people, you know, because it's these so many people. How would they just be acting? You know.
How would it be acting?
So
Very
many
easy.
people.
So it's called.
You do things long enough.
It's called
you get good at
tulpas.
it.
Tulpas, right?
Tulpas.
Tulpas.
Tulpas, I believe that was.
Slancatto would say tulpa.
He would, like, me and Zach are kind of like I don't think it's a thing, but I'm kind of like, I'm listening to you. If he was here, he'd be like, no. And he would just interrupt you.
The idea is like, okay, so say it's even just perceiving that you have a different consciousness in your mind. It doesn't change that. It doesn't change that you're still like.
Well, the difference
talking,
is
you're still talking to them.
Are you thinking it's there, or is it actually there?
I just think me and you are like.
I
realists.
don't think it's actually there. Like, it cannot be. If it looks and sounds like an independent thing, it is not. Because anything in your head can only be made from what's in your head. You can't pull other personalities unless it's a thing that's already burrowed in your head. If it's a way that you have acted or can.
I know you're.
So it can't be like a Nazi. If you are anti against Nazis, it can't be a Nazi.
I know you're more open to like that stuff. I don't know about it. Is Aaron
no,
not a realist?
he would freaking be like, no, Trenton, you're an idiot.
Well, I think of it from like a purely psychological thing. I'm not into any of that magic or anything.
No,
either.
I think everyone here agrees that there's no magic as we know it.
I mean, the whole thing.
I mean, there's a lot of weird
from what I can
things on
gather,
Earth, but there's not magic.
The thing with people who claim to do magic is more like a hypnotism.
They're trying to be special.
Well, it's more like a hypnotism type thing, but
what are you talking about magic?
But it's using symbolism. So they'll say like, oh, this certain symbol means this certain thing for me, and that'll reinforce some hypnotism that they've done for themselves.
I don't think
they don't call it hypnotism, but they're like, oh, this does this for me.
So it's just like seeing a phone, and this means phone, but it really means phone.
This has got.
It's kind of like when you look at something, like say that you like got shot, and then you like the bullet falls out, and it went through, and like hit a wall, and you look at that bullet. Would it be like, this hurt me, and it would only give you feelings of hurting?
No, you keep it in for sentimental value.
I'm just saying like that. I was trying to think like maybe you got stabbed or something, like something that could elicit
the doctors.
emotions.
The doctors come.
Emotions, not motions.
Keep it in. It gives me sentimental value.
Yeah, but I don't.
No, it's not good sentimental value.
But I really more know about the psychological side of it is like but this whole and I guess the only way to figure out for 100% sure is to try to disassociate and like switch.
The only way to do it for sure is
to see if your tulpa can.
Is if we developed a technology that could see what we see in our head, not like through our eyes, but in our head. That's the only way for sure for anyone to actually believe anything. Like if you go to a scientist and tell them this crap, they'll be like, no. But if you were able to create a device that goes on your head and it sees how you see like your reality, and it put on a screen.
Well, the thing is, like,
what is the part of brain that elicits sight?
No, not sight.
I know.
Sight. If it was just sight, it would see what unfiltered what you see. But if it was in your head.
Well, the problem is, it's more than just seeing. So, like, if I were to say.
Just experience.
So if I were to, like, say, impose my tulpa in the room, and he's, like, in the corner. Well, the problem is...
Sit in the corner, buddy.
The problem is, I'm not good at...
Can they fight each other?
I don't know why they would. That would just cause, like, problems. Like, that'd just be a big headache. Hey, but anyway, but, like...
Can you make two and have them fight?
I mean, it's like Foster's imaginary...
You can make multiple, but I think it's gonna cause you problems.
It's a lot of time wasted.
Like, people say it gets easier the more you go on.
Yeah.
But I feel like, dude, if you get like 6, that's gonna start getting troublesome.
This guy just has no friends. He has to make his own.
People who say they have 40, I'm like, oh no. People who say they have 100, no, you do not have 100. That's like that's got to be
lying. That's BS. There's no way.
That's
That means they've done the process 100
that's like,
times.
Well, okay. So there's this thing where like,
They could just make them on.
well, there's this
new
thing
one.
where you're more susceptible to have, like maybe your brain just has an
What's it called again?
an
How do
intrusive
you spell
thought.
it?
TULPA.
Oh yeah, don't look it up on Google Images, because it'll make you immediately be
It's
like,
just
this is dumb.
It's just a bunch of creepy pastas and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, because
But, like-
a deep fear is like, what if something in your head can hurt you? That's a deep
Well,
fear.
the
right there.
idea
That's the
is
deepest, darkest
the idea is since you
Oh, that's
created
weird.
them,
It's just weird.
It's kind of like robots.
the
but
idea
they're
is
not
since
supposed
you
to hurt
created them, and you're like, hey, this is like we're like sharing a body, so like maybe please don't slit my wrist. If we, but that's also the thing. You gotta, if you're gonna like,
Could you make a tulpa kill the
Switch.
president?
if you're gonna switch on command, you gotta trust that they're not gonna slit your wrist.
Oh yeah, no, this is
But I was saying like this, it's tough. You can't just like say what you see, because if I were to say my tulpa's in the corner, but like I'm not good at visual
Hey,
imposition. I don't see them.
Trenton, my
it's like
tulpa's
a-
in the corner right now. Do you see it? I see it.
My tulpa is in the form
It's a zombie.
But that's like,
Can you make it look whatever you want? Can you make it look a hot girl?
I mean the idea is like they eventually decide what they want to look like.
Whoa. They decide they want to look like a freaking rock. Wow, thanks, kiddo. Interesting.
So he's sort of just like this guy,
Yeah.
just this
Well-
like I think he's 6'3" guy. Like, because I was like thinking to myself like, all my friends are taller than me, so there's got to be something to that. So maybe through the symbolism of making him taller than me,
So
it'll do something.
You
know?
have this character you've created in your head that you claim you can hear and see.
Well, the thing is more like.
So you're just going cray-cray.
Some people they actually figure out how to like hear through. It sounds like their ears, but most people
It's not actually.
they just use their mind. Like whenever you think of like saying something, but you think of it in your mind.
I don't actually hear in my head. If I say something in my head, I can't describe it with words, but it's almost like I see here.
Well, like yeah, it's sort of like imagine hearing music. That's sort of like, or imagine hearing your voice being,
I'm doing
you
it right
saying
now.
something.
That's why I'm silent. And I don't know how to describe it.
So
I'm talking
that's
to
what
myself
it's
in my head.
that's what it's like. So you basically hear them. Most people hear them through that way.
So you don't hear it at all.
So you
There's
don't
no
you don't hear it.
It's
but,
almost like you feel the words.
they communicate. That is actually a thing a lot of people talk about. Is sometimes they speak with words, but sometimes they speak with
A good way to
like a concept. So they'll not say like a specific word. They'll more say like a concept.
Yeah, they'll
and you can translate it to words, but
How do you say it? Concept?
kill your father. It's just like
They Nazi party. You just hear that in your head. It's communicating fascism and hatred. Probably should lock him in a corner.
oh, funny thing, they don't have to breathe, so they can scream forever.
Yeah, because it's in your
but
head.
anyway.
There's no air in
But
your head.
It's hard to describe the way, because like okay, so they'll say something, but there'll be more meaning behind the words.
My dog died. My dog really died.
oh, did he really?
No, I'm just saying like that's an example. I'm just
Well,
confused.
they'll say like, oh yeah, go ahead, and they'll say it like that, but they'll actually mean like, go ahead.
So they're constantly
But it's
sarcastic.
not really an inflection, or it'll be like an enthusiastic go ahead.
What if they say every word backwards?
Wow, thanks.
I don't know. They can only
It's supposed to be my
do.
insightful voice in my head, and no, it's just backwards. It's
They
like
can-
Satan speak, whereas
If you
everything's
can
backwards.
if you can say stuff backwards, then they can,
Word no.
because they can.
My name backwards.
Do what
So
you-
so I know we talked about like you can kill it off, but has a tulpa ever like tried to kill someone even though it's
No,
even
it can't because it's in your head.
I know it's in your head, but can they think it's
Well,
trying to kill me?
It's like a TV screen in your head, like it's an image.
Well, I've only briefly heard of problems. There was this one guy.
If this is a real thing, that's scary.
I've only briefly heard of problems of people. They'll be like really abusive because maybe they're a bad person. They'll be like, oh, I'm gonna create a tulpa that hates me, because just for the fun of it.
Why? What? I'd be
heard-
like, this person thinks I'm the
So
best
what's the
person
pro-
ever. I'd be like, great.
Well, and I've heard of people doing that, and so that's just as an experiment, and so that's like probably a problem. You probably wouldn't want to do that. That's like
Dude,
most warned against.
You know,
thing.
it'd be
Don't
dope. What
be-
if you could see other people's? Like, if you made one, it means you can see other people's.
But that's like not the way it is.
What if you could though? What if it was like
that's,
superpower?
That's the problem of other brains.
That'd be cool though. You could
I
like.
want mine in the form of a minion.
I would kill myself. I would put a gun to my head. There's no way.
You can
And it speaks banana.
you can do that. You can do, or like for example, they could say to you, oh, I want to be in the form of a minion. You could be like, you'd probably shut down that idea. You'd probably be like, no, you're not going to be a minion.
Dude, no. I'm sorry, buddy, but that's not happening. And he goes, okay, not a minion. But how about that new Grinch in the Grinch movie? You go, God damn it, you asshole.
No, but the
Sitcom ideas.
So the problem is,
No. It's Gru.
It's Gru.
He goes, oh, where are the girls?
The goals.
Girls.
people. I mean, sometimes people do characters, but like, but they're tulpa.
There's a
and
bunch
stuff.
of weebs who want their anime characters.
Oh yeah, a lot of people do anime characters. The biggest problem I've
Does that mean
seen,
they look anime?
yeah, they would look
How would
anime.
that work?
Well, but
Give me weird
not many people
thoughts.
actually like visually impose, like, because
what's-
that's really hard to do.
So essentially,
It's really hard to make your brain hallucinate an image that's not there.
I'm trying
It's
to do it right
weird.
now.
It's
Trying
just-
to visual something
Yeah,
right
like
now.
you can do static.
Do it right now.
You can do static pretty. Let me
I
see.
was trying to make a dice
This
pop
is
up.
weird.
It didn't
I'm
work.
not doing that.
You can do static.
Well, that's
pretty
just
easily,
your
but,
eyes.
yeah.
That's you seeing your eyes. You can see your the little, because you see with the thing in the back of your eyeball, but you're seeing the little thing.
The
You
cornea.
can see the floaties as well if you look hard enough.
But like
There's
unfortunately,
one.
it probably won't ever be taken seriously.
Oh, no, it
of
won't.
course, especially because like
Same with ghosts.
okay, so people, you want to know how people figured out they could do this?
A crazy person in an asylum got bored one day.
No, worse. My Little Pony fans.
No.
Yes, this started on 4chan with My Little Pony fans, and they obsessed over these ponies, and they had pony imaginary friends for so much that they actually started to talk back, and because it was 4chan, I guess they felt safe to share their opinion.
I mean, you can. It's completely anonymous. You can say whatever the hell you want on 4chan. You could say you freaking murked a guy, okay, and no one's gonna. They'll think, oh, it's just me, man.
And so if my
some
tulpa
weird
says he
stuff on
wants to be anime or a pony, I'm gonna say hell no.
Be a normal human. No.
I don't know, like I don't know.
Okay.
Some people have like a realistic looking animal, which I think that's fine. I
Ooh,
think
what about? It's like Harry Potter. They're what's it called? Patronus. Or they have,
Oh yeah,
this is the deer.
there's.
What is,
No, I was thinking like, oh yeah, what if it like talks to you like, you know, when the basilisk is moving around in Chamber of Secrets, it's like, he's like, oh, can you hear that? What do you mean, Harry?
And he's
I can't
holding
hear anything."
my scar.
my scar. What is that about?
His scar hurts when he's near Voldemort.
Voldemort's there.
Harry Potter, man. Looking back, this is so. The concept is.
Does Harry Potter have
Yeah,
a
but I
tulpa
mean-
fan theory?
I mean, the movie's not bad. I mean,
The movies are fine, the books are fine, but it's just the concept in and of itself is just so like teenage drama.
you can look at Star Wars and be like, oh, okay, this is kind of
Star
ridiculous.
Wars. Have you ever stepped back and looked at Star Wars not like through the eyes
It's
of our
sort of-
culture?
it's sort
It
of
is
like
the
meh.
stupidest thing.
Yeah, it is.
It is so stupid sounding.
Yeah.
When you're not over analyzing, when you're just enjoying
But-
it, it's great. But when you step
Anything-
out of the glass over
anything
your
to
eyes,
a good
man,
movie
it's like,
is
that's
anything creating a universe for a movie is like one of the most important parts. I mean, obviously your characters and story come first, but you have to create like an environment.
I've heard the best way to create a story is to create a world with rules and then create a story within the world of rules. Because then you can make it, the world and the rules seem believable.
Well, why do you think so many people like Star Wars and Harry Potter? Because it's a magical world, and this one's over here is it's also magical in a way.
Guys, is the Force real?
That actually like is a perfect segue. So I met. Okay, so another thing you can do is like, you know how you can visualize stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, basically, you visualize being from a first-person perspective in like a world. So you create a world, and you have your tulpa there, and you're just like.
You know what this sounds like? It sounds like in the future. It sounds like, you know what GeoCities are? It sounds like GeoCities, but in like the 3980s.
But
where it's
okay,
like you
so
have your own little web page where it talks about you, but it's like VR.
It's just a username. It's just a username. So I'm gonna name drop. So this guy named
Big Dick 300.
Drop shot.
Tulpa God XX Net 69.
It was Matty, but like with Mattie. So this guy, he comes onto the Discord server.
We need to have one of these people on the podcast.
And we already have one right here.
No, like one of the people who are like actually like they've done it like full force.
Well, he's been, I don't know.
I have like 3 of them. One of those guys.
He's like younger than me, and he's been doing it for a really long time. But basically, it all started out for him. So what he would do is he got
my waifu. I see her in real life.
Well, he got really deep into meditation. Is how he started out, and so he basically got so deep into meditation that he learned how to disassociate from his own body, and like go into this place as if it were sort of like, you know how a dream feels.
No.
He sort of goes into that place.
I only know how dreams feel through how I remember them, which is most of the memories I've created.
Have you guys ever meditated? Like
no, well yes, in psychology when we were forced to before every class period.
I've done it on my own time. I've done it on my own time.
I just got my phone out.
And so anyway, basically, I mean, it's sort of a dorky name. People call it Headspace. People call it Mindscape.
The term they used was Headspace.
But they basically for me it's just like I can't get that immersed in. Most I can do is like visualize and like imagine like I'm feeling like, you know, whatever I touch, like imagine like I'm feeling the fountain water, and that sort of gets me into my, you know, sort of more immersed.
See, I've listened to those meditation videos or whatever, and they're like, yeah, we're walking through a meadow grass.
That is another
blah, blah, blah.
That is another way of
I'm like,
doing
okay,
it.
like my mind's clear and I can like visualize like things that I'm doing, but I'm not really immersed.
But basically, he said, so people have figured out, they figured out how to create consciousnesses in their brain, sometimes by accident. So like this guy says he immersed himself in his mindscape, his headspace, and then one day there was this guy that happened to be there, named Jeff, just there.
My name's Jeff.
And you know, so he didn't really know what was.
Oh, his name was actually Jeff.
Well, it wasn't the meme. It wasn't the meme.
Oh, did it show up? Was it? What's the guy's the actor's
So
name?
he ended up talking.
Channing Tatum.
Was it Channing Tatum?
He ended up talking to this guy who was just in his mindscape, and this guy became another consciousness, sort of. And he didn't know for the longest time until some of his friends were like, you know, talking about if this whole tulpa thing was real. And then so they give him a link to the Discord, and we were just in the voice chat, and he's like, guys, I think I have tulpas. Can you like confirm this for me?
I wouldn't.
Can we please get this kid
I
on?
need to speak to this guy, and
So
I just
people-
want to hear what he's got to say.
Well, I've heard a lot of people do it by accident. They
What are you doing in your own head to do that?
like imaginary friends. Maybe they keep their
I've never
imaginary
done
friend,
that.
and
Never
their
had
imaginary friend like talks back to them,
Okay,
and they
real-
just think that's a part of it. But they have that imaginary friend for like a
Real
long
talk.
time.
Who has had an imaginary friend? Like when you were a young kid and you had this fake person you talked
Nah.
to.
Well, that was actually where this tulpa thing started from, because I figured if I'm gonna try out, you know, why not just continue from where I left off? Because like I was like, I was like, I think it was like elementary school. I was bullied or something. And so I was
Trent's
like,
backstory. Are you a superhero?
So I was like, hey, why don't I have an imaginary friend? He's gonna be a cool guy, one of the cool guys. So he's like this, this cool guy. Looks different now, obviously. He's, older now.
Does he age with you? He's gonna be like 80 when you're 80, and he's gonna. What if he dies before you?
So
dude, that's dark.
That's impossible.
No, dude. But what if it happened?
So your imaginary friend.
Because if he says Lamau, I'm dead, I'm gonna be like, lol, no you aren't. I'm gonna keep talking to you.
It's like a rotting corpse. You get propped up in your brain.
No, but it's the same brain, so he dies when I die.
What if he stops talking to you? Like, you just die? What if he just
That would
dies,
suck.
man? What would suck about it, man? Just let him be. He's dead. He died. He's dying, man. Circle of life. Happens everywhere. Even in your brain.
Well, I asked him and he said no, he's not gonna stop talking to me. So
He's not gonna stop. He's not gonna die.
So what
Is he
do
immortal?
you?
But
what
he mostly gives yes or no answers.
What if when you
he's
die?
He's
what if
very
when you
direct.
die,
So
your
when you
corpse
talk to
comes
him-
back and he takes over.
Like sometimes, sometimes I'll be like, I'll be like, oh hey, what do you think about this? But it's really weird.
Is he here?
I don't-
Can
I
I
don't-
talk to him?
Well, I don't say to him. So like what I'm meaning is you can communicate more. Like you can communicate without words. What I'm meaning is I'll communicate to him. What do you think about this? But I won't really say it. I'll be like.
You think of the meaning.
It's
behind
like
the
sort of
words.
like turn. It's sort of like turning to him to see what he has to say. But
What does he look like?
But sort of mentally. What does he look
He
like?
described it already.
He's
He's a
a
tall dude.
6'3", jet black hair. He's got like pretty strong
Are you
eyebrows.
6'3", Zach?
I am 60.
Do you have jet black? Does that
He's-
consider it? Is he? It's like I go to touch Zach and my hand goes
He's
through him.
no, he's like a bit shorter than you. He's a bit shorter than you, but
half, I think.
yeah. So he's a bit shorter than you, but like just thinking about it and look away. If I go into like the mindscape and think about it, I know this is like pretty cringy.
Just say when you think about it.
all
Don't
the-
say mindscape.
Dude, all the terms
There's
are
no way
cringy.
There's no way to not make the term sound cringe because the concept is what makes it cringe.
I could go through basically the terms. So switching is you give control of the body, like the entire body over your tulpa. Possession is where you give control of like maybe just a hand or an arm. So I don't know why it's still called possession because that's like really that's cringy right there.
What time is it now?
46.
We're not nearly to 1.5 hours. But anyway, like
Well, no, I'm saying it's at 3 we have to. But
oh yeah, it is almost 3. Oh dang it.
we can.
But anyway, yeah.
We can bring it back because you've been talking about the stuff that you still do, but I used to do kind of stuff like that, not to the same extent,
Yeah.
not anywhere. It was stuff within relative reason, not
Like
that's deep into it.
that YouTube video you found?
No. This was when I was probably a freshman, maybe middle school, like last middle school year, and I think I stumbled on a video that it was pseudoscience. And when they're using big words, they're pretty convincing. And so this guy explained in concept about how you can see your life energy. And to me, well, it sounds like BS when you say it, but when you watch the video, it sounds like this dude knows what he's talking about. Obviously, he didn't, because it was of the range of like magic energy. It wasn't like, it wasn't grounded in mental reason. It was magic the way he described it, but he used words to make it sound logical. It was a way to get people to subscribe to his YouTube channel is what it was. But he said you can see your I think he called it an aura. I've heard that term used before, but he called it you can see your aura, right? And that sounds so mystical and cool. And so I was like, you know what? I'll do what he said you could do. And you're supposed to lay on your bed when it's dark in your room and look at your feet, and you can see your little glowing thing around you, and you can't. I mean, you can think about it really hard, And then it's you doing that thing with your eyes where they kind of like disfocus so that you see two images, so it's not really.
So it's like when you open Photoshop and you're like, I'm gonna add a glow to the image.
It was pretty much. It's pretty much if he said pretty much if you stare hard enough you can see glow, and that's your life energy. And I was like, I'll try it, and I tried it, and I didn't really see anything, and then I gave up. And then at a later date, I did this thing where this guy explained this. It was a different dude, but he did the same technique. Really explaining how you can move things with your mind. And I didn't think it was real, but I was fascinated with this dude. I knew it was fake, but he would like move cups at restaurants like this. He'd do this.
If I could,
and he'd move it, but his hands would.
If
he'd
I
only
could do
spin it,
that,
and it would go like this.
Oh, if I could do that, then
And I was like, oh. But I knew it was fake deep down. But I wanted to believe because that'd be super cool.
Be like the Force, and then be like, it'd be like in Attack of the Clones where like Anakin serenades Padme with some, what is it? It was some kind of fruit, wasn't it?
He uses the Force to cut an apple.
Yeah. Oh, you like this?
I didn't. Can the Force cut things?
Well, no, he's like picked up a knife with the Force and cut the apple with the
talking
Force.
about
So he's just being super.
Talking
extra.
about Star Wars. Did you guys see that they're bringing back Star Wars Clone Wars?
I never watched it.
I watched that show. I love that show.
I heard it was okay, but
it's really good.
I heard it's also terrible. I've heard it's fine, and I've heard it's the worst thing ever. So I don't know if it meets in the middle.
Don't watch season 1 or 2. It's kind of rough, but like season 3 to the lost episodes are really good.
The lost episodes.
Yeah, because they cut off the show when it wasn't even done. That's why they're bringing it back so they can finish the story arcs.
Dang, interesting. That's a cool idea.
Dude, we'll totally have to have some of those people on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll have to try to get one of.
I'll ask.
One of those ones when we're in a Discord. We'll have to do it.
Like I'll see if they trust me enough to be on my podcast. I'm like.
Trust you.
I'm not gonna
just tell them it's gonna bring awareness to.
It's gonna bring awareness.
It's a bunch of people who think everything you do is BS. They're like, I'll pass. Because like, Aaron thinks it's BS.
Yeah,
I don't think it's true, but I can understand how. I understand the concept.
I'll cut that out. Don't worry.
Aaron referred to himself as Aaron.
Oh.
Everyone knows our names in this. Aaron referred to himself as Aaron.
It's not like we're giving our.
Why is this a
social
big thing?
security?
In the last episode, I go,
hey guys, here's my social security number.
My social security is 1 2 3 4
5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 dab. But yeah, but he would be like, no, and he probably wouldn't. Aaron, one of those guys that he would not even want to be on it. Like he would disassociate himself. I guess he gets embarrassed. I guess I don't know.
What really ticks Aaron off?
What's an episode we can do with Aaron to make him mad during the episode?
We just ignore him the whole time.
No. We need him. He needs to be here for the video game episode.
The video, yeah.
He needs and the YouTube one because he's good with internet stuff. So we need him for that. This he wouldn't have much input. But yeah.
But I would say, if any of you out there, like, okay, first of all, like, this whole tulpa thing, you know how people like claim they can hear ghosts? I was gonna allude to that.
Is this a game theory that you're gonna be like, they're actually seeing ghosts?
No, but they go into this whole, idea. They think about the fact that they can hear ghosts. Like, they think they can hear ghosts so much that they create somewhat of a tulpa that is the ghost, and they believe that's like a ghost.
I think they're just hearing something like
goofing.
Wind in the air, and since they want to hear ghosts, they're like, oh, it's ghosts. And they really think it is, but it's actually just wind that their brain
skeletons.
Well,
but anyway, yeah, if anyone out there tries it, definitely look up information on how to do it, because it's like you're almost hopeless without looking up specific information on how to do it.
No one would know where to start. But,
no one would know where to start.
We'll have to get him on for episode 4. The guy for the video. Let's see if you can.
Episode 4
I'll get someone
has
on.
Nothing to do with that stuff, though.
Oh.
We'd have to make a new episode for it.
Yeah, we'll have to.
It'd be like it would just be like an interview.
An interview episode, yes. But anyway, guys.
Take this one off. Yeah, we're running out of time, so.
Running out of time.
Well, thanks for listening to our.
Thanks for listening to Trenton's insane ramblings.
Thanks for listening. What are your thoughts on the topic? Put down in the comments.
I think it was a good podcast about the mind.
About the brain.
The mind is powerful enough
I'm gonna.
Can I make things on
I'm gonna
fire?
go in the.
With yoga magic.
Right after this, I'm gonna go imagine.
Have you seen those videos?
You need a sorcerer's ring.
I'm
He's
gonna.
like, don't be absurd.
Right after we end
You
this.
don't have a firestone.
Right after we end this podcast, I'm gonna go imagine a minion. So.
I'm gonna go make a hot girl. Just stand in the corner every time.
She just stares at me.
That's actually frowned upon. People don't
Too
like
late.
it when you
It's already there. I see it.
when you
right
make
there.
one just to be like a hot girl. They frowned upon there. They're like,
They're frowned upon.
don't make an anime waifu. That's top 10 mistakes people make when making a tulpa.
Dude, I'm just gonna let you know.
Yeah. So don't.
It doesn't really matter when they themselves are frowned upon. It's like when you do that, you're like the outcast of the outcasts. You're not in their outcast club. You're too much of that.
That's truly a level 7 thing to do.
That's a level 7. We need to talk about the ranking system in an episode.
We'll talk about that in an episode.
Well, we're running out of time, so you want to say like any last thing, each person? You go first.
Despacito.
Despacito 2 coming out soon.
Despacito.
Check out our YouTube channels. I don't know. I'm kind of hungry right now, so.
Are we gonna leave with how our mental or not? Instead of doing our physical state, we do our mental state. Because we go like, oh, I'm feeling a little hungry, you know.
Well, I'm personally feeling the effects of drinking liquid at the beginning of the podcast.
You know, I drink some water. I was kind of zoned out a little bit. Not gonna lie, but my health is pretty decent. I hit the gym last night. I'm trying to gain some muscle mass.
Wow. Okay. I sat around all day, and then I went to work yesterday, and then I'm gonna go to work once this is done.
Nice.
So, gotta go make that money, make that paper. Well,
mental state.
Audio.
no, we did that.
Audio.
It's fine.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Yeah.
We're just trying to extend it to get the revenue.
It's already way past.
We're gonna get it to 10 hours to extend revenue.
Okay. Adios, amigos.
Bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.